everybody. I wanted to start off today with one of the three topics that I think it's going to help you the most. I've suffered with vestibular migraines for over 6 years now, and actually I would say that I'm 95% free of migraine attacks nowadays, which is a huge help. For some of you that are suffering with the same problem, you already know it's really tough. It's very difficult to manage, especially day-to-day activities. Very debilitating, and definitely, looking for some solutions that are not necessarily going to be driven by medication. That was my goal, so I started kind of following a different type of therapies, recommendations. But here's the three things that have helped me the most, and I wanted to share that with you. So number one would be sleep, and I would break it down into probably two categories: quantity of sleep and quantity of sleep. So I'll start off with the most important one for me. It's quality of sleep. Definitely having a nice rest has helped me the most, avoiding the migraine attacks, and especially for me was the dizziness. With vestibular migraine, it's one of the key symptoms that I experienced. It was not so much pain, but dizziness. So in terms of quality, I think it's very, very important to establish a routine that is going to drive, very effective results. So in terms of routine, what I recommend is to stick to the same time for going to bed, especially during the weekends. I think it's important because you don't want to set your next week for failure if you don't stick to it, for every single time or every single day. So in my case, I usually go to bed between 10 to 10:30 every night. Try to avoid as much as you can any blue lights or TV, phone, iPad. I would say at least an hour, but if you can't, 45 minutes. So just turn everything off and try to put with the smartphones and all the smart devices, you can have a sleep schedule. So then actually the phone and tablets go to either sleep mode or do not disturb, so you don't get any notifications or anything that is going to distract you from wanting to pick it up. The next piece would be, if you can, and if you can establish a routine in your own home, to avoid having any above ceiling lights. Anything that is below the eyesight is probably better, because the thing is that when you have lights like the pod lights above yourself and things like that, your brain doesn't understand that it's already nighttime, and is thinking that maybe it's the day, and then gets you possibly wired still. So try to have eyesight or below the eye lights throughout the house. You can use candles as an example, or if you cannot, because your house is not set up for that, and you don't want to spend the amount of money that it would take to make the changes, you can dim the lights maybe, so you can have less lights above you, for exposure that your brain is going to think is still sunlight. Then the rest would be, when before bed, try not to have too much anything to drink, maybe like an hour, or at least again 45 minutes, so you don't wake up needing to go to the bathroom, because that's pretty disruptive. And then the one thing that if you're a woman in perimenopause or menopause, I think it's extremely helpful to have a tiny snack made of a carbohydrate and a protein, something really small, like no more than 150 calories. They'll help you absorb the cortisol that is running in your body, and of course cortisol can disrupt your sleep, or uh, um, wake you up in the middle of the night. So hopefully you can incorporate that as part of your routine. And then the next piece would be once you're in bed, try to have your room temperature really cool. Some people recommend 17 degrees Celsius. That's probably too chilly for me, but I would say something between 19 to 21, or at least 20 would be great. So you don't wake up, with being hot or being uncomfortable. Then, in the bed, you can try to relax and practice some meditation for like 10 minutes, or some stretches in the bed. Or something that I like to do a lot is putting your legs up, like in the either the wall or behind your bed for again 10 minutes. That helps you getting into a more relaxed state, and it's gonna assist you in your sleep. During the night, especially being asleep for the entire night without waking up once again in the middle of the night. So sleep was number one. Number two is try to identify what triggers or what takes you over the threshold in terms of food intake or beverage intake. One of the things that I recommend is a book called Heal Your Headache. I can put it in the comment section so you can take a look at it. There's a full list of things that you should avoid. On that list, you're gonna see wine, aged cheese, any cured meats, fermented products, coffee or caffeine, and a bunch. It's a huge list. How I started, and possibly the way I would recommend, depending on how flexible your schedule is, to try to work around your diet, is exclude everything at once. At the very beginning, try to exclude as many things in that list as you possibly can, and then probably stay in that diet with everything excluded for, let's say, a month. And then you can start reintroducing things, and wait for a week and see if your attacks are coming back, or maybe you see some relief or some help. This process takes a while. I actually I was in the diet maybe for about 6 months before I started reintroducing different things, and then I realized that my major triggers were not cheese, thankfully, not wine, not avocado, or cured meats, or anything that would have products that are gonna take you over the threshold as a trigger. But it was mainly a couple things. Number one was coffee, unfortunately, and number two was sugary anything. Sugar was one of the key things that would trigger like right away a migraine attack after the day after I had like a really big dessert, especially if it was dark chocolate type of dessert. That was one of the major triggers, but then definitely coffee. I have been able to get back on 100% normal diet except from coffee. Coffee I reintroduced for maybe a year or so, but the migraine attacks came back right away, and I was feeling dizzy pretty much 80% of the time, so it was really not worth it. Now I'm staying off of coffee, maybe have it once or twice a week at maximum, and then I have been able to maintain the 90% dizziness free life from that standpoint. And then the third piece would be hydration. I was not really very good at remembering to drink water, or to drink any like non-caffeinated drinks and things like that. So I had to kind of set up a reminder for myself. And you can do it on your phone too. You know, I used to use my calendar in, you know, at work, uh, you know, with little, you know, flashes, you know, drink water, um, because hydration was very big for me. The days where I didn't have anything to drink, because that was quite usual, I would have, you know, at the end of the day, I would be completely dizzy, not really being able to walk, and it was really hard. So just to summarize, I think having a very good quality sleep with a nice routine that you can follow every day. Try to avoid the foods, or identify first the foods that trigger your migraines, and then of course take them out of your diet. And then number three, hydration have been the biggest tips that I can give you to decrease the level of migraines, or the intensity. And in my case, you know, I'm 90%, maybe a bit more, but let's just say 90% migraine free, which is no more dizziness and you know, that feeling of discomfort that was very impairing for me. So stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be talking a lot about different things that have helped me, because I've tried quite a bit. And you know, stay tuned. Thank you for listening.